Welcome, everyone, to the 2002 APBA World Championships coming to you from beautiful Key West, Florida. Hi, this is Vince Lipari on behalf of Jeff Girardi and the rest of the Freeze Frame Video production crew. We have over 100 competitors in all in these World Championships. The event consists of 7 races. We've already had Wednesday's races, which were race 1, 2, and 3. And, of course, we'll give you the winners from those races in just a moment. Today's race will be race number 4. Race number 4, which will consist of the P-boats and the Outlaw A competitors as well. Now, it's a beautiful complex here in Key West, the southernmost tip of the continental United States. The Truman Annex is the headquarters for many of the activities, from inspections to fueling and cranes, the wet pits. It is the racing village for this event, Truman Annex. Lots of social activities here in Key West for this event, from the boat parade, the cocktail party under the stars of the city parking garage roof, racers party at the Martha's and Benihana restaurants, and much, much more. Pre-block party at Krabby Bill's, and of course, the big Nick Carter concert, which is scheduled for tonight. Now let's give you some of the winners for the first 3 races. First off, in Super Cat, it was Drambuie on Ice. In Super Cat Light, In Motion. In Super V, Nick Carter Racing. In Super V Light, Twin, Utz Quality Foods. In Super V Light Single, Kava Kava. In Super Cat Light Outboard, Flowmaster. In Factory 1, High Energy. In Factory 2, Speedwear. Those are some of your winners for races 1, 2, and 3. Now the competitors for race number 4 today. First off, in Outlaw A, Scott Free, Mountain Dew, Grumpy Old Men. In Performance 1, it's TeamFastBoats.com. In P2 class, BigOaksOffshore.com, Island City Flying Service, and Obsession Offshore Racing. In P3, Dirty Cash, Traffic Light, Team TKO, and PowerboatTours.com. In P4, Team Deranged, The Bat Boat, Bad Attitude, Christie's Photographics, Cool Running, Sherwin-Williams, and Zero Cavity. In P5, it's Offshoregasm, High Priority, Screamin' Nuts, Haraba's Team Blythe, Wild Rose Sensation, and Short Circuit. That's P5. In the Outlaw Performance Extreme V, it's Outer Limits, and the Outlaw Performance Extreme Cat, it is El Diablo, How Sweet It Is, and Bacardi Silver. Those are your competitors for race number 4 this Saturday here at the World Championships in Key West. Freeze Frame Video Productions providing some 31 onboard cameras for you for these World Championships. We've got 8 for race number 4, and they include 2 cameras on board Bacardi, camera on Wild Rose, Big Oaks, Deranged, Power Tours, Zero Cavity, and Obsession. 8 onboard cameras for you in race number 4 at the World Championships. Now let's give you the officials for the APBA. CEO, Mr. Michael Allweiss. The President and COO is Ted Zoli. Executive Administrator, Lynn Eason. Safety Director, Jim Poplin. Chief Inspector, Paul LeBrew. Chief Referee, Mike Tomlinson. Chief Scorer, D. Kimes. Director of Race Communications, Jim Felton. Director of Sponsorship Fulfillment, Tony DeCoba. And Pit Manager, Randy Hedgewood. And Competition Director, Steve Miklos. And, of course, a special thanks to Race Director, Mr. Lee Mills. Now, some of the sponsors for the APBA Offshore 2002 racing season include Mercury Racing, GMC, Vortec, Donzi, Volvo Penta, and High Tech Performance Trailers. Also Formula Racing, Tommy Bahama, Daytona Harley-Davidson, Sunoco Racing Fuels, Reindl Powerboats, and BNA.com, Jewel Yacht Transport, American Express, and many, many more. Once again, this is race number 4 of the event. Race number 4, which includes the P classes in Outlaw A. We will have race number 5 this afternoon, which includes Super Cat Light Outboard, Super V, and all the other Super V classes. Races 6 and 7 will be on Sunday. Race number 6 will feature the Factory 1 and Factory 2, and race 7 of the event, the finale, will feature Super Cat and Super Cat Light. As we look at Drambuie on Ice, there is a power plant being changed on one of the Super Cats. Here we are at the Truman Annex, the racing village for these 2002 APBA World Championships. A lot of the Super Cats are running tomorrow, so a lot of the crews are changing their power plants today in preparation for tomorrow's racing. There's one going in right now. It has been a terrific World Championship here in Key West, and of course we expect more of the same in the remaining races. And Freeze Frame Video Productions is certainly proud to be a part of it. All right, very shortly, we will be airborne to bring you race number 4 in this 2002 APBA World Championships, coming to you from Key West, Florida. All right, now as you can see, we're airborne and the lineup begins. Boats are beginning to spread out. We're going to go with race number 4, which includes the P boats and Outlaw A. And now they are beginning to spread out, picking up speed here, getting ready for the beginning of race number 4. All right, the boats now beginning to line up, and from the inside out, it's Fastboat.com, Outer Limits, Big Oak, How Sweet It Is, Obsession, and Bacardi Silver. All the boats getting ready for the green, just a few moments away. As we said, Fastboat.com, Outer Limits, Big Oak, How Sweet It Is, Obsession, and Bacardi, just waiting for that flag. Race number 4, almost underway. Picking up speed. And we've got a green flag now here in race number 4, these 2002 APBA World Championships in Key West. Going to the immediate lead, we've got Outer Limits, How Sweet It Is, and Bacardi. Outer Limits, How Sweet It Is, and Bacardi, your early leaders right now. Okay, let's go with Outer Limits first. It's a 42-foot Outer Limits. Bob Russell is the driver. Michael Fiore is the throttle man. As we said, it's a 42-foot Outer Limits, Sterling powered. 2 1,300 horsepower Sterling inboards. There's Bacardi Silver on the outside. Bacardi Silver. Bacardi is a 46-foot skater, also Sterling powered. Same amount of power, 2 1,300 horsepower Sterling inboards. David Scott and John Tomlinson on board, driver and throttle man. And there's How Sweet It Is coming into the picture on the outside. How Sweet It Is, a 45-foot skater. Going around the turn, there's Bacardi Silver. And How Sweet It Is on the outside and Outer Limits on the inside coming into the picture. So it's Bacardi, How Sweet It Is, and Outer Limits on the inside. Off to a great start in race number 4. There's your leader, Bacardi Silver. Bacardi Silver is a 46-foot skater, Sterling powered, 2 1,300 horsepower Sterling inboards with David Scott, the driver, John Tomlinson, the throttle man. Right now, your leader in the early moments of this race. Primary sponsor, Bacardi Silver, a premium flavored malt beverage produced by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated. Now, some of the crew members include Crew Chief Matt Patterson, also Steve Wallace, Lucky Budenbach, Mike Powell, Wayne Mount, and Mark Thompson. Bacardi Silver, your leader in the early moments of race number 4. This boat is rigged by TNT Custom Marine from out of North Miami Beach, Florida. Let's go on board now with David Scott and John Tomlinson of Bacardi Silver. Now with the Bacardi Silver 36-footer, they had set the world's fastest offshore kilo speed record at 190.045 miles per hour. Also the world's fastest offshore kilo record holder at 188.858 miles per hour. And Lake Ozark shootout record holder at 165 miles per hour. Now on December 5th, they're going to try to beat those records with the 46-footer that they are in right now, and that will happen on December 5th. And of course, freeze frame video will have 2 onboard cameras for you to record that event. David Scott, John Tomlinson, driver and throttle man on board Bacardi Silver. Going into Mallory Square. Rear shot on board Bacardi Silver. Beautiful blue sky. This boat powered by 2 1,300 horsepower Sterling inboards. There's a helicopter on the right side, Mr. Russell Kilpatrick. Number 1, Bacardi Silver. You're watching race number 4 here at the 2002 APBA World Championships in Key West. The P-boats and the Outlaw A class as well. Lots and lots of spectators there in Mallory Square getting a great vantage point for this race. All right, around the turn and out of Mallory Square. Going by is fastboat.com. All right, but we're going to go with Obsession coming up in just a moment or two. And there is Obsession, P2 boat. First in class right now, Obsession Offshore Racing. Mr. Harry Turner is the driver. Dan Dropsky's the throttle man. Bob Bowman, the navigator. They're all from Massachusetts. It's a 37-foot outer limits, MRD powered, 750 horsepower inboards. A special thanks to MRD. And some of the sponsors that make this boat the competitive one that it is include Turner Inc., Scrap Metal Recycling, Bowman Builders, Custom Builders, Bluefin Sport Fishing Boat, Obsession Boat Sales, Green Pond Tackle and Marina, and Green Pond Seafood. Crew members, Scott Bowman, John Turner, John Blackman, and Matt Turner. First in class and P2 class, Obsession Offshore Racing. Other competitors include Big Oaks Offshore and Island City Flying Service. On board Obsession Offshore Racing. And there they are, Harry Turner, Dan Dropsky, and Bob Bowman. Driver, throttle man, and navigator.
Oh, we want it. That's the kind of shit you gotta watch. I'll get outside now. It's outside. Get your trim right.
I'm gonna keep it down a little bit on the side because I want to turn over.
Oh, you got the wrong tab up.
Obsession Offshore, 37 foot out of limits.
We're all right there, just where we are. Watch it. All right, slow it down. We gotta slow it down a little bit, please. Watch out, you.
All right, there is BigOaksOffshore.com, another P2 boat. Big Oaks Offshore, a 42-foot fountain. John Giovanetti is the driver throttle man, and John Hillen is the navigator on this boat. BigOaksOffshore.com. Crew chief is Marty Hester. He took a first place in Daytona, first in Marathon, first in Savannah, and a second in the Bahamas. Took a second place in the National Championships, APBA. Right now they're in second place in P2, Big Oaks Offshore. Other competitors, Obsession and Island City Flying Service in P2. There they are, John Giovanetti and John Hillen. John Giovanetti is from Bartow, Florida. John Hillen from Apopka, Florida.
And there's your next marker, 10 o'clock. If you want, clear on the inside. Clear inside.
Big Oaks Offshore in second place in P2.
Your marker?
I see him there.
All right, here's a battle going on for the championship here in P3 class between PowerboatTours.com and Dirty Cash. And there's Dirty Cash, as we said. They are battling here for the championship. Dirty Cash, a 30-foot superboat. David Peratt, the driver. Anthony Perry, he is the throttle man. David Peratt, the owner of this Merc Cruiser-powered 30-foot superboat. special thanks to MRD. They took a second place in Cape Cod, a second in Savannah, first in Cleveland, and a second in Texas. 30-foot Superboat smoking the course here. Dirty Cash. Superboat built on Long Island. Now the Dirty Cash racing team will have a brand new boat in the 2003 racing season, a brand new Outer Limits. Dirty Cash. Around the turn, David Perath and Anthony Perry. Both from New York. Dirty Cash in first place in P3. Moving out of Mallory Square. Right behind is PowerboatTours.com coming up. PowerboatTours.com is a 38-foot cigarette, Mercury powered. And on board, Brian Hollis and Greg Sanders with Louise Whitmore on throttle. PowerboatTours.com in P3 class. They took a second place in Daytona, a second in Marathon, first in Savannah, a first in the Bahamas, and a first in Texas. Sponsors include Tal Marine out of Lake Lanier, a Georgia dealer for Formula, Four Winds, Boston Whaler, and Cigarette Offshore Powerboats. Big Dog Demolition, MotorMat.com, Tucker Welding in Atlanta, Georgia, 96 Rock in Atlanta, Georgia, the Atlanta Falcons, Boat Masters, fiberglass and gel coat repair on Lake Lanier, and Hollis Transport out of Gainesville, Georgia. PowerboatTours.com, P3. All right, this boat, PowerboatTours.com, has to beat Dirty Cash to gain the national and world championships. Currently in second place in P3. Dirty Cash, your leader. Brian Hollis and Greg Sanders on board, Louise Whitmore on throttle.
Take this turn smart. Drag him down the straight. Go! Go! All clear. They can't run in this corner.
Vector helicopter shot, PowerboatTours.com.
All clear. Don't worry about the tape, boys. I got it bad.
All right, there's a P5 boat. Screaming Nuts is a 28-foot Seahawk, Mercury powered. Robert Mazakowski's driver. Richard Schubert is the throttle man. Robert from Georgia, Richard from Galveston, Texas. Screaming Nuts. Sponsors include Fluid Sealing Products and Bayway Services. Screaming Nuts. There's How Sweet It Is going by on the outside. How Sweet It Is. In PX class, 45-foot skater, Mercury powered, 750 horsepower inboards. John R. Peterson, driver and throttleman. Roy Schrader is the navigator there from Goleta, California. How Sweet It Is. All right, going into Mallory Square. We're watching race number 4 out of 7 here at these World Championships in Key West. APBA. Later on this afternoon, we'll have race number 5, which will include the Super Cat Light Outboard, Super V, and all the other Super V classes. And then tomorrow, races 6 and 7. Race 6 will feature Factory 1 and 2, and race number 7 will feature the Super Cat and Super Cat Light. How Sweet It Is, going around the turn in Mallory Square. John Peterson and Roy Schrader on board. How Sweet It Is, 45-foot skater running well here in race number 4. How Sweet It Is. All right, now looking downfield, we'll pick up Outer Limits. 42-foot Outer Limits should be coming up. And there it is. Outer Limits, Sterling Power 2, 1,300 horsepower Sterling inboards. Bob Russell, the driver. Michael Fiore is the throttle man. The Outer Limits racing team will also be going for the world kilo record on December 5th, along with McCarty. Outer Limits will be trying to go over 150 miles per hour in their class. And that would be in the V-bottom class. Nice driving there by Bob Russell. Michael Fiore is the throttle man. Bob from Duval, Washington. Michael from Warren, Rhode Island. All right, in the distance there is Wild Rose, P5 class, a 28-foot sensation. D. Early is the driver. Jimmy Spears, the throttle man. D. from Waynesville, North Carolina. Jimmy from Beaufort, Georgia. Wild Rose sensation. Sponsors include Amsoil, Sensation Powerboats, and Turnkey Marine. Other competitors in P5, we've got Short Circuit, High Priority, Offshore Gasm, Screamin' Nuts, and Carrabba's Team Blight. Let's go on board Wild Rose with D. Early and Jimmy Spears. Outer Limits going by on the outside. Outer Limits.
Take it to the inside. Inside. You got him. Straighten it up. Not too hard, bro.
Nice driving there by D. Early. Jimmy Spears on throttle. Mercury powered. 28-foot sensation. Austin it is, going by on the outside. Lots and lots of spectators at Mallory Square. Let's go with high priority now in P5. High priority, a 27-foot Baja Mercury powered. Warren Miller is the driver, and Matt Clark is the throttle man. In third place in the national point standings, high priority. Some of the crew members include, first off, we got the crew chief, Charlie McDonald. Crew members Rochelle Miller, Barbara Johnson, and Janet Clark. Sponsor is Throttle Up Propellers and Performance Marine. High priority, P5. Outer limits on the outside. Outer limits. All right, in P4, there is Cool Running, a 28-foot offshore concepts powered by two V8 Johnson outboards. Eric Cormier is the driver. James Brown is the throttle man. They're from Massachusetts. They took a first place in Cape Cod, a second in Cleveland, and a second in the Bahamas for the national championships. Cool Running. Those V8 outboards sound excellent. Special thanks to Carol Brown. Nice throttling there by James Brown. Eric Cormier, the driver. Cool Running, P4, 5-2. There's PowerboatTours.com on the outside. Dirty Cash currently out of the race. Wild card on the inside, wild card, but we're going to go on the outside with Zero Cavity. Zero Cavity, a 24-foot Rindle powerboat. Gerardo Santiago is the driver. Enrique Ochos is the throttle man. They're from Florida. Gerardo Santiago is a dentist. He's involved with pediatric dentistry. They took a first place in Texas and a first in the Bahamas. National championship in their class. We're going to go on board in a few moments with an onboard camera. On board, zero cavity for Gerardo Santiago and Enrique Ochos. Nice driving there by Gerardo Santiago. A little rocky there, but no problem. All right, back to our helicopter shot. There is zero cavity hanging and banging in race number 4. And we see Christie's Photographics there on the outside along with Wildcard. Zero cavity on the inside in P4. Christie's Photographics also in P4. Wildcard on the outside in P5. Battle here in P-class as race number 4 winds down. Other competitors in P4 include Team Deranged, the Bat Boat, Bad Attitude, Sherwin Williams, and Cool Running. As we said, Christie's Photographics and Zero Cavity battling here in P4 right now. Wildcard, 26-foot signature boat. William Ross, the driver. Lazaro Fontega is the throttle man. On board Christie's Photographics, Lisa Beilman is the driver. Bob Christie's the throttle man. Christie's Photographics, a 26-foot Scarab. Zero Cavity, Christie's Photographics, and Wildcard on the outside. Okay, now we're on Wildcard. William Ross is the owner as well as the driver. He's from Little Ferry, New Jersey. Lazaro Fontega is the throttle man. Lazaro from North Bergen, New Jersey. Wildcard, 26-foot signature. Mercury powered, 500 horsepower inboard. Henry Mallory Square, where there are lots and lots of spectators with a great vantage point for these World Championships. Race number 4. 3 more to go. All right, now we're going to go with Island City Flying Service, P21. Island City Flying Service, 24-foot skater, powered by 2 Mercury 2.5 Pro Maxes. Now on board, Ryan Beckley and Chris Hanley. Of course, Ryan Beckley, the owner of Kinetic Animation, home for all your vinyl and graphic needs. Now, Island City Flying Service is a company which provides flight services like fuel and accommodations and other services to the helicopter pilots for this event here in Key West. And of course, freeze-frame video production and all the other aircraft involved. I'd like to extend their thanks to Island City Flying Service for the quick turnaround and fueling up the helicopters. Island City Flying Service. And special thanks to Paul DePoo and Peter Sellers. Island City Flying Service, 24-foot skater. Ryan Beckley and Chris Hanley on board. In A-Class, it's Grumpy Old Man, a 28-foot Magnum, Mercruiser powered. Driver is George Eisenhart Sr. Throttle-man is Bobby Kieber. Navigator, Jack Roth. George and Jack from Ohio. Bobby from Big Pine Key, Florida. Grumpy Old Man. Nice throttling there by Bobby Kieber. Mountain Dew and Scott Free also in Outlaw A-Class. George Eisenhart Sr., the driver, Bobby Cleaver, the throttleman, and Jack Roth on board as navigator. All right, Scott Free, also in A-Class, Scott Free. David Murphy's the driver, Steve Kildall the throttle man. It's a 26-foot Velocity. Powered by Flagship Inboard. Steve Kildall is the owner of Creek Marine in Sarasota. All right, Scott Free is your leader in Outlaw A, followed by Grumpy Old Men. Mountain Dew broke after the first lap. Scott Free, David Murphy, and Steve Kildall. In P3, there is Team TKO, a 30-foot Suffet Mercury-powered, two 500-horsepower inboards. Walter Collins is the driver throttle man. Leo Fontaine is the navigator. They're all from Massachusetts. Team TKO. Other competitors in P3, we've got PowerboatTours.com. Traffic Light. Now, Dirty Cash broke after 3 laps in P3. Other boats that are also out of the race include Team Derange and the Bat Boat in P4. Of course, Mountain Dew in Outlaw A. And BigOaksOffshore.com in Outlaw Performance 2. Also, Offshoregasm in P5. And in the Outlaw Performance Extreme Cat class, El Diablo broke after the first lap. Team TKO in second place in P3. Nice jump there by Team TKO. There's zero cavity on the outside. Zero cavity, #1 in P4 right now. Zero cavity. There's wild card in P5 on the outside. Short circuit on the inside. Short circuit also in P5. Battle going on in Performance 5 class. Short circuit, the 27-foot Magnum Chevy powered. Skip Gabler is the driver. He's also the throttle man. Keith Churchill is the navigator. They're from Michigan. Skip Gabler, also the owner of Short Circuit, 27-foot Magnum. All right, other competitors in P5, we've got Wild Rose, Carrabba's Team Blythe, and Screamin' Nuts. High Priority and Offshore Gasm are out of the race. In first place in P5, Short Circuit, with Skip Gabler and Keith Churchill. Onboard Obsession.
I think he's filming somebody, Harry.
Nobody on it, Harry. Slow it down, Harry. Nobody on it. Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead. Nobody on it. Watch that boat pool in front. Way on the inside. Way on the inside, Harry.
Obsession in
Straighten it
P2.
out, Danny. Straighten it out. Let her eat. Let her eat. Let her eat. Let her eat, Dan. This is homeward bound. Hang on, Harry. Homeward bound. Come on, little girl.
In first
This
place
is
in
finish.
P2.
This is finish. You put it right about tapes in your tent. Okay, anybody to the left? Anybody to the left? No. Oh. All right. Okay. Keep going, Danny. Okay, okay, back it off, back it off. Back it off, back it off. Oh, man.
All right, they know they've won.
Talking done, brother. We got the right number of laps? Guess so. We got another lap? I don't know, I don't think so.
No, because PX is already here.
Yeah, watch ahead of us here.
How sweet it is, and he's already done. They were doing the same laps as us, and he's already here.
Yeah, it's 7 laps.
Yeah.
Let's go on board PowerboatTours.com. P3 boat with Brian Hollis, Louise Whitmore, and Greg Sanders.
This is it, right? Yep, this is it. Are we supposed to peel to the inside or the outside? Look for the checkered flag. Okay. Over the inside. Powerboat team. Son of a bitch.
All right, and that is it. There are the hugs and celebrations on board P396, PowerboatTours.com, getting the checkered flag in P3. And that is it for race number 4 here in Key West at the APBA Offshore World Championships. There's a checkered flag for PowerboatTours.com, a World Championship as well as a National Championship. So they really scored quite well here in Key West. Great season for this team. P396. Brian Hollis, Louise Whitmore, and Greg Sanders. And there are there's the Obsession Racing team we saw a little while ago. Harry Turner and Dan Dropsky and Bob Bowman getting the checkered flag in P2. And a World Championship for the Obsession Racing team. And we should mention as well a National Championship. All right, that is it. The end of race number 4. Very shortly, we will give you the results as well as who are the world champions. We just saw a couple of them. And as we overlook here, sure off of Key West, Florida, race number 4, highly exciting racing in the various P classes as well as the Outlaw A class. And of course, we're going to have race number 5 this afternoon. Race number 4 is history as we look at lots and lots of spectators here as we enter Mallory Square. That's the stage setup for this evening's concert by Nick Carter this Saturday night. All right, the winner is in Performance 2, Obsession Offshore Racing in first, followed by Island City Flying Service. Big Oaks Offshore in third, Obsession getting the checkered flag. They are your world and national champions in P2. In P3 class, PowerboatTours.com getting the checkered flag, followed by Team TKO and Traffic Light in third. PowerboatTours.com, your world and national champions in P3. In P4, Zero Gravity in first place, followed by Sherwin Williams and Cool Running in third. Zero Gravity in first place, your world and national champion in Performance 4. In P5, Short Circuit in first place, followed by Wild Rose Sensation in second, and Carrabba's Team Blythe in third. Short Circuit getting the checkered flag in Performance 5. And in the Performance PX class, Bacardi Silver in first place, followed by How Sweet It Is, and El Diablo in third. Bacardi Silver, your world and national champion in the Performance PX class. And in the Outlaw A class, Scott Free in first, followed by Grumpy Old Men in second. Mountain Dew in third. Scott Free in first place, getting the checkered flag in Outlaw A. All right, that is it. The end of race number 4. Highly competitive racing, but most of all, safe racing here in Key West for these World Championships. And before we go, there are a few people that we would like to thank. First off, with special thanks to Eve for all of her help during the 2002 racing season. Also, Gary and Nancy Johnson for their fine camera work. Mr. Jim Fisher for his help on the onboard cameras. Mr. Russell Kilpatrick, our helicopter pilot. Of course, a special thanks to the APBA staff for orchestrating a fine event. Also, a thanks to the racing teams of Typhoon, Platinum, and Obsession for helping us to transport our equipment to Key West for these World Championships. And, of course, Freeze Frame Video Productions making these races available on the DVD format as well as VHS. So, on behalf of Jeff Girardi and the rest of the Freeze Frame Video production crew, this is Vince Lipari wishing you a fond farewell from Key West, Florida. Looking forward to seeing you in the 2003 racing season. Bye, everyone.